My last question today is, do you have any words of wisdom for our newcomers and or us, any of the current students of the breed?
We were talking about that, and there's every single dog magazine I picked up lately has had articles on that very thing. How can we? And when I judged back in Wisconsin, we had a group discussion. They wanted me to give some sort of a lecture, and I said, no, we will have a group discussion. I'm not preaching to people back here. So we did. Well, it got all bogged down in the newcomers in the thing. They all think there's evidently a conspiracy against them. I mean, they're complaining about the handlers always win, the same old stuff you go up here. But there's been these articles about it, and especially now, some lady calls it the snowflake generation. We've had not the millennials, because when the things get bad, they give up, and they have a feeling of entitlement. I mean, in sports, they give kids participation medals. There's no more valedictorians, no more salutatorians. Well, when life hands them what else instead of lemonade, why then they think that they're abused, and they don't. And it's the same way with the dogs. They think, and I think one of the worst things that can happen to people when you start in dogs is either to breed a top dog in your first litter or buy a dog that goes on to go great things. It's the kiss of death. I've seen it happen. They think it's so easy and they can repeat it. Then their truth rears its ugly head and they give up. Years ago, some people bought a German short-haired pointer puppy, and they picked it out in a basement with a flashlight, and it had a white spot on its forehead. Okay, and so she grew up to be a gorgeous bitch. They finished her with 3 5-point majors. They thought they could. This was great. Well, it didn't work that way, and they didn't stay in it very long. So you need to suffer a little bit with your yes, and then you appreciate it, and you appreciate it. Otherwise, you think it's easy, and it's not. You just happen to hit the jackpot the first time. It's like winning this lottery. I mean, you're not going to do. It doesn't happen too often.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I think I'm not too optimistic about things. I mean, the animal rights people have really devastated everything. And of course, we had a lady at the show here today from the local newspaper here. She was here, the show was here 2 years ago too. And she's going to talk to Patty Strand. But she said she's been reading about the legislation. They want, the goal is to, well, of course the goal is to get rid of pets. They want to put animals as basically citizens, give them the same rights. I mean, that would be it sounds like utopia, but it's not. No. You think of
Devastating.
And it's I don't know. And of course, people with the dog pet, of course, that's the idea: dry up the fanciers, and then they can, and the pet people, they can bamboozle. And so I don't know.
Well, in our club, I think we've had some positive
You
youngsters coming.
That's good. You were
and
telling
that is good. That is good.
And I liked your idea where you said your officers. What did you have? I mean, they were like trainees. What you call?
Well, in our breed education committee, this past year we put on 2 interns. Kathleen George is one of them. What we were trying to do was get folks that have been very serious about it and have been in the breed maybe about 5 years, but they can tell us as a breed ed committee what we need to teach them or what they're lacking, or and this is why some of these conversations with folks that have been in it for many years, how this came about. I think I think we need to listen to the newcomers. We really do. see where we're going. So
Well, you said 5 years. There used to be a saying: if you can stick it out for 5 years, you'll
you're
be in
in.
it the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's just the first. Like I say, that's just about the length of time that it
Yeah.
takes for all the things that I said. That you buy either breed a puppy
and
in your
that's what
first.
we, with Kathleen and with Deb, that's what I think they're going to be in it.
And so that they can, but that's been true for a long time. I mean, they think that's because I've heard that saying ever since I was first involved.
Well, it's with like any intense hobby. A lot of people just go in and they just go whole hog, and then
Yeah.
they get
But like
tired
I
of
said,
it.
they buy a dog that turns out to be a top-winning dog, or they're lucky and they breed a top-winning dog in their first litter, and they have fun doing it. Well, then when they can't repeat it, then they give up. I mean, well, that's not so much fun after all. It's costing them a mint of money. In fact, Van Dyke wrote it. I should get it out of Old Dog News magazine about. I really should, about this thing about, and it tells that the guy goes into dogs, and a year later he's out. And I forget. It's funny. He wrote some pretty funny columns in the Old Dog News, and I miss all those.